The human skeleton is a remarkable structure, providing support, protection, and mobility throughout our lives. It is composed of bones, which are dynamic tissues that undergo constant change, even after we reach adulthood. But how many bones will you have in your lifetime? The answer to this question is not as straightforward as it might seem, as the number of bones in the human body changes over time due to growth, development, and aging. To understand this process, we must explore the anatomy of the human skeleton, the stages of bone development, and the factors that influence bone health and structure. At birth, a human baby has approximately 270 bones. This number is significantly higher than the number of bones in an adult human, which is typically around 206. The reason for this difference lies in the process of bone development and growth. During infancy and childhood, many of the bones in the body are not fully formed. Instead, they consist of multiple smaller bones that are connected by cartilage, a flexible and resilient tissue that serves as a precursor to bone. As a child grows, these smaller bones gradually fuse together through a process called ossification, where cartilage is replaced by hard bone tissue. This fusion reduces the total number of bones in the body, resulting in the adult skeleton's 206 bones. One of the most well-known examples of bone fusion occurs in the skull. At birth, a baby's skull is made up of several separate bones that are connected by soft spots called fontanelles. These gaps allow the skull to be flexible during birth and accommodate the rapid growth of the brain during infancy. Over time, the bones of the skull fuse together, forming a solid structure that protects the brain. By the time a child reaches adulthood, the skull consists of 22 bones, including the cranial bones that form the brain case and the facial bones that support the features of the face. Another example of bone fusion occurs in the spine. The adult spine is made up of 33 vertebrae, which are divided into 5 regions: the cervical, neck, thoracic, upper back, lumbar, lower back, sacral, pelvic, and coccygeal, tailbone, regions. In children, the sacral and coccygeal regions consist of multiple separate bones that fuse together during adolescence and early adulthood. By the time a person reaches their mid-20s, the 5 sacral vertebrae have fused into a single bone called the sacrum, and the 4 coccygeal vertebrae have fused into the coccyx. This fusion reduces the total number of bones in the spine and provides stability to the pelvis and lower back. The process of bone fusion also occurs in other parts of the body, such as the pelvis and the hands and feet. The pelvis, for example, is made up of 3 bones, the ilium, ischium, and pubis. At birth, these bones are separate, but they fuse together during adolescence to form a single structure. Similarly, the bones of the hands and feet undergo fusion as a child grows. The hands and feet contain many small bones, and while the number of bones does not change significantly, their shape and structure become more defined as the cartilage is replaced by bone. While the number of bones decreases as a result of fusion, the bones themselves continue to grow and change throughout childhood and adolescence. This growth is driven by the activity of growth plates, also known as epiphyseal plates, which are areas of cartilage located near the ends of long bones such as the femur, thigh bone, and tibia, shin bone. The growth plates are responsible for the lengthening of bones, and they remain active until a person reaches their full height, usually in their late teens or early 20s. Once growth is complete, the growth plates close and are replaced by solid bone, marking the end of longitudinal bone growth. The adult skeleton consists of 206 bones, which are divided into 2 main categories: the axial skeleton and the appendicular skeleton. The axial skeleton includes the bones of the skull, spine, and ribcage, which provide support and protection for the central axis of the body. The appendicular skeleton includes the bones of the limbs, shoulders, and pelvis, which facilitate movement and interaction with the environment. Each bone in the skeleton has a specific shape and function, from the long bones of the arms and legs that provide leverage for movement to the flat bones of the skull and ribcage that protect vital organs. While the number of bones in the adult skeleton is relatively stable, it is important to note that this number can vary slightly from person to person. Some individuals may have additional bones, such as extra ribs or small accessory bones in the hands or feet. These variations are usually harmless and do not affect a person's health or mobility. However, in some cases, extra bones or abnormal bone development can lead to medical conditions that require treatment. As we age, our bones continue to change, but in different ways than during childhood and adolescence. Bone is a living tissue that undergoes a process called remodeling, where old bone is broken down and replaced with new bone. This process is essential for maintaining bone strength and repairing damage. However, as we get older, the balance between bone formation and bone resorption, the breakdown of bone, can shift, leading to a gradual loss of bone density. This loss of bone density is a normal part of aging, but it can increase the risk of osteoporosis, a condition characterized by weak and brittle bones that are more prone to fractures. Osteoporosis is a major health concern, particularly for older adults and postmenopausal women, who are at higher risk due to hormonal changes that affect bone density. To maintain bone health and reduce the risk of osteoporosis, it is important to engage in weight-bearing exercises, consume a diet rich in calcium and vitamin D, and avoid smoking and excessive alcohol consumption. Regular bone density screenings can also help detect early signs of bone loss and guide preventive measures. In addition to changes in bone density, aging can also lead to changes in the structure and function of bones. For example, the cartilage that cushions the joints can wear down over time, leading to osteoarthritis, a condition characterized by pain, stiffness, and reduced mobility. The bones themselves can also become more brittle and prone to fractures, particularly in the hip, spine, and wrist. These changes highlight the importance of maintaining bone health throughout life to ensure mobility and quality of life in older age. In conclusion, the number of bones in the human body changes over the course of a lifetime, from approximately 270 bones at birth to 206 bones in adulthood. This reduction in bone number is due to the fusion of smaller bones during growth and development, particularly in the skull, spine, and pelvis. While the adult skeleton is relatively stable, bones continue to change throughout life through processes such as remodeling and aging. Maintaining bone health is essential for preventing conditions such as osteoporosis and osteoarthritis and ensuring mobility and quality of life as we age. By understanding the dynamic nature of the human skeleton, we can appreciate the complexity and resilience of our bodies and take steps to support bone health at every stage of life.